The Valve Steam Deck hype is real. A lot of people are excited for this thing. I'm extremely excited for it. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I do have some reservations though. Final judgment won't happen until I actually own the thing, get to play with it, but I'm still excited for it. I'm curious with the way it feels in my hands with the face buttons and the D-pad, the A, B, X, Y, and the D-pad being kind of like right on the outer edge of the actual system. Seems kind of weird, but then when you see those handles on the back, the nice little butt cheeks, that grip may compensate for that. And that's what I've been hearing from the initial hands-on tests. But you know what? I have to reserve final judgments for all that stuff until I actually have it in my hands and get to play with it. But yeah, I'm still extremely excited. We've been talking about this thing quite a bit lately. One thing that we were discussing was the the tech specs on the device, as far as all three models do have that socketed 2230 M.2 module. So not intended for end user replacement. We know, we understand that, we've heard it. We just are waiting until somebody is able to tear this thing down and we could see how accessible that is, you know, especially for people who get the 64 gigabyte model and may want to upgrade the storage. We've been doing a lot of talking about using micro SD cards to expand upon the storage. This thing is designed for it. It has a micro SD card slot. And there's, you know, until it's actually out there, we really don't know with certain things. But I feel like, why would they launch this thing to where they don't want you to replace the internal storage anyway, and just straight up use micro SD cards if it's not going to work, right? That's why we've been doing some unscientific testing and all that good stuff. You know, just playing AAA PC games off of a micro SD card, not the most technical thing in the world. And yeah, it doesn't 100% relate to the Steam Deck, but it just gives me an idea. Like, you know what? They're designing this thing to work this way. All their test footage worked with the micro SD card. That's how they loaded up all the games they played in the test footage. So it really doesn't seem like an issue. Now, there are limitations with micro SD cards. They will be, you know, quite a bit slower than an NVMe, but pretty similar to a lot of old school hard drives, including what was used in the PlayStation 4. So the read and write speeds don't seem to be too big of an issue for most people with micro SD cards. The one thing, and I have brought this up a few times, yes, out of every micro SD card I've ever had, I've had a few hundred of them. I've maybe had a small handful that have failed. And the reason that they failed, or at least my best guess, is because I was constantly rewriting to those micro SD cards, like burning images to them over and over and over again. They just wore out and stopped working. Now, is that like bound to happen to everybody? No, but with extreme usage, it could happen. My thought with the Steam Deck is if I'm going to use micro SD cards, I'm not going to want to continually like delete games and download new ones. I'm going to try to manage that the best I can to, you know, keep the longevity of the micro SD card to make sure it works for as long as I want. With the pricing on micro SD cards, I don't think it's too crazy right now, other than for, you know, larger capacity ones like 1 terabyte type of thing. For me, I think it's going to be fine. You know, your saves are going to be out there in the cloud and whatnot. You're not going to have to worry about losing anything if by some crazy chance your micro SD card dies. I mean, like I said before, I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody with that, but there are those like concerns with the continually reading and writing. I think the reading part isn't going to be that big of a deal. It's just the constant like rewriting to the micro SD card. It's just something to keep in mind. But I think for most users, using micro SD cards is going to be fine. But when we talked about that 2230 M.2 module, we had seen that Dell had a 2230. Very, very difficult to find these like out there. Like a few companies have them. But I just find this nuts. Is it because of the Steam Deck hype? People started buying these things up. And the one thing is we're not 100% sure if it's going to, you know, what key it's going to use for the NVMe. Pretty sure it will be this one, but there's no 100% way to tell until we see it for ourselves or are told this is the exact key, the M key version of the NVMe that we're going to need, you know, for that socket. Is that how it's going to plug in there? I have a good like suspicion that that's what it's going to take. But I mean, don't jump on anything until we 100% know. They've pretty much doubled the price of this, and I think it's due to that hype. People buying these things in anticipation. Dell's seen this because a lot of people, like I was talking about this, Reddit was talking about this specific, storage drive on Dell, and now all of a sudden, boom, you're going to pay $320 with free standard delivery for the 1 terabyte 2230 NVMe M.2 drive. Holy crap, like, why would this price all of a sudden jump? That's like a little suspicious here. Really, were people jumping on this, buying the heck out of them, and Dell saw an opportunity to make more money? I don't know. They have another one with the B plus M key that also went up in price, $351.99. You can get some free standard delivery on this one as well. But yeah, where is this coming from? Like, okay, I know some parts prices have gone up, but from when the Steam Deck was announced and people started talking about the 2230 M2 slot, all of a sudden, the prices just jumped up astronomically. Nobody even has these things in their hands other than people with Valve testing and doing whatever they're doing. So, I mean, it's nuts. I know people want to be prepared for these things and get ahead of the game on certain things. And, like I would say if Black Friday, there's cheap micro SD cards, screw it, why not? Or any kind of great sale between now and then, cool. But stuff like this that we're not 100% on, we may be like 99% on. Myself personally, I'm waiting. I'm not going to jump on one of these drives quite yet. Like all this stuff, even though we know what the specs are for the most part, and we know that they say all models use that socketed 2230 module, I wouldn't jump on one of these quite yet. Because if you buy it now and say it winds up that you can't use it or you got the wrong, keyed version, it's going to be like well beyond time that you could return it. You know what I mean? So that's why for me, it's like, I understand, man, prices are going to jump up regardless, but I want to be 100% because I don't want to buy one of those things and then be like, crap, I can't use it. Now I'm going to have to try to sell it on eBay or something. Hopefully somebody wants it and I could try to recover some of my money. Who knows, man? Like, I think that's nuts that the price jumped up like that. It's good to be prepared, but I mean, we don't know for sure. Like the first wave of people who ordered the Valve Steam Deck may be getting theirs in December. They should be sending out those like, hey, pay for the order in December for the people who bought it within the first couple minutes or the first minute. And then maybe they'll get them in December. Maybe it'll trickle into January a little bit. But yeah, that first wave isn't going to be until December. And then the next wave is after that, quarter one of 2022 and then going into quarter two. I've seen some people, they showed that their little reservation, when you go to this page and you scroll down, that the expected availability has like come down. Mine hasn't. And I've seen people who had a blank one that theirs are now saying like December. Not everybody's, but a lot of people's that got in real early. It's saying expected order availability December of this year. So that's pretty cool, man. I'm hoping mine might fall back down. But you got to remember too, by the time that it comes to like, hey, fork over the money, especially if it's in December for a lot of people, there may be a lot of people who they're like, forget about it. Like, I can't afford it. I had to buy Christmas presents for little Timmy over there and, all these people and whatnot. And I just can't buy it. I just can't do it. So they may cancel their reservation and it's just going to keep trickling down. So I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope that maybe mine will trickle into December. If not, I'm fine. I'm not tripping on it. I'm just excited I got a reservation in for an earlier availability, not quarter three type thing. If you got a quarter three, which I've started hearing people who had quarter three, it dropped back down. Hey, man, a lot of people out there like, you know what? It gives me time to see what the reviews are, if there's any issues with the device, and make a more informed decision by then instead of just blindly, boom, here's your $650, send it to me, and I'll figure out if it's awesome now. I'm the kind of person I want to find out for myself. But some people, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, it's a lot of money to fork over, even if you're at the $400 one. Like, that's a lot of fucking tacos, dude. So, I mean, yeah, some people are very happy to just have a reservation and they don't care what the availability date is. And some people are just like, man, I just want to see what the reviews are and then either keep my reservation or cancel it. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, but I can't wait to get one in my hand. So, really do appreciate you guys. We'll be doing more content talking about Steam Deck when there's, interesting things to talk about. This one was one that I seen a lot of people shooting at me, like Dell's like going crazy with these things. So it was like, you know what, let's talk about it a little bit. So really do appreciate you guys hanging with me. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Big ass thumb button in your face. Bye-bye and boom. Bye.